did a radio show on an Indian reservation where diabetes is, I mean, it's rampant across the nation, but specifically that community. And we were talking about sugar, and I walked into the studio, and there was one of those red radio flyer wagons, and it had those 5-pound domino bags of sugar, a whole pyramid. I think she had like 70 of them. I'm like, oh, that's cool, cool display. And I said, hey, you know, what's with the sugar? It's like, that's a visual display. I'm like, of what? She's like, well, before I think she said 65 or 70, before that, the average American would consume less than one of those 5-pound bags for the year. She said, we're over the 70 bags per year. And that's the sodas, that's the candy, and the carbs that turn to sugar.
And
like,
hidden sugars, too, that are sort of hidden in the ingredients.
Right. And the thing about sugar is this, and this is what we talked about on the radio show, you get that pleasure, those pleasure centers, dopamine receptors. So let's say tomorrow, Jim, and I know you're not going to do this, but tomorrow you have a donut. And you're like, oh man, that tastes good. It hits those receptors. Tomorrow when you have a donut, it's not gonna register the same. So you're like, okay, well, maybe I need 2 donuts, or maybe a donut and a Coke, or maybe a donut and a Snickers bar. And then the third day, you need to exponentially grow it because those receptors don't respond the same, which is kind of like genius if you're in the sugar food game, because you just have to keep consuming more. And I tell people, don't get on that revolving door, because it's tough to get off, but
it becomes an addiction, right?
Bingo. It is an addiction. And because it's legal, food is goes under the radar, like you were saying earlier. It's an addiction, and I know I was there, and I tell people I can empathize with you when you come to my office, not because I read it in a textbook, okay? Let's forget the textbooks or studies I read. When I graduated high school, so 18 years old, I was 350 pounds. I had about like a 44-inch waist, morbidly obese, a lot of health problems. So food was my best friend, and not good food either. Like I would be eating a box of candy bars, not a candy bar, a box of candy bars. And as I'm eating that, that's my best friend, sure. Yeah. I'm eating that, but in my mind, I'm thinking, what am I going to have for dinner? Like I'm thinking about the next fix already. So I get it. I get it. And you know, thankfully I was able to get off that road and go a different path. So I've been there, and what I'm telling people to do, or I'm asking them to do, I know is not easy, but it's doable. If you want it bad enough, it's doable. And that's the thing. We have to not only give you hope, but find that motivating factor. What's going to motivate Jim to kind of pass on that candy bar or not do that thing? Some people, they can hear diabetes, blood sugar, cholesterol, stroke, heart disease, and they're like, okay. For me, at 18, I'm like, who cares? Like, what? I'm young. That doesn't speak to me.
Right.
So I had to find my motivating factor.
What was it? What happened? Was there an epiphany, a trigger? Did a doctor say you're in the wrong path? What was it that caused you to say, okay, I'm going to now make some changes?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask me that. I was hoping to go to the next subject. But I'm going to admit it, though. I'm going to be honest. 2 things motivated me. One, my mom and family members would always say, man, you're overweight, like you're fat, you're obese. Or I would hear this a lot. You would be handsome if you lose weight. And I'm like, oh, thanks a lot. Right. Ouch, backhanded compliment, right?
Right.
But I hated to go clothes shopping, and I hated mirrors. And I just was in denial. And then at 18, I don't know why I did this. I was about to get in the shower. I took off all my clothes. And I looked in the mirror and just looked at my body. And I mean, just tears. I was like, wow. Everybody was right. Yeah. And I have that image burned in my head what I looked like. And I'm like, gosh, you have let yourself go. This is not good. Right. That was number 2. The first thing that motivated me at 18, going from high school to college, was girls. And I know, hey, a great personality. Hey, he's friendly. I know girls say that's important. I got that. He treats me well. But there's a look component there. And I didn't want to go through the next 4 years of my life in college being the funny friend.
Right.
I want to be the romantic guy, right? Not the funny friend. Right. We're going to go as friends on a date.
I want to be the lead this time.
Yeah, not the funny co-star, right?
Supporting actor.
So I was like, man, I get to start over in college. No one knows me. I'm going to bust my butt over the summer and change who I am. So it was girls, the opposite sex, if you will, and that image in my head. But everybody has their thing, you know. But what I tell people all the time, and maybe this is a misconception a lot of people have, I don't know, maybe you can tell me, is they think they're going to come see me. they don't have to change their lifestyle at all.
Right.
Like, forget working out and being active. I can eat, my fast food 3 times a day, drink my 6-pack of beer, smoke a pack of cigarettes, and Dr. John's going to give me a magic pill, an herb, a tea that's going to offset all of that.
Right.
I wish I was that good.
Right.
I can help, but man, there is no magic pill. You got to put in effort.
You have to want it.
You have to want it. And I can't want it more than you.
Right.
That's the thing.
You can't hold their hand, right?
If I could, I would. I would tell people, if I could drink this tea for you, if I could take this supplement for you, if I go to the gym for you, I would do it. But I can't.
But it won't
I can
help
give you,
them, right?
I can give you the roadmap and how to execute.
Right.
But you when you leave here, you have to execute on your own, not with
Right.
me over your shoulder or, hey, did you call you up? Did you take your thing? Or did you drink your water today?
Right.
Like you said, you got to want it.